I didn't buy the $90,000 i4 M50. This is the base. Rear-wheel drive, single motor. In the last 6 months, I've driven it to close to 30,000 kilometers. That is a cross-country road trip times 5. Most people saying buying an EV car, especially a rear-wheel drive, is a huge mistake. They say the range will plummet, they say you'll get stuck. And honestly, they were right about one thing. The title says what broke, that broke. So essentially the weight of this car, 4,500 pounds, along with the instant torque of this car, absolutely shredded these tires. And it cost me around $1,500 just to replace them. But apart from the $1,500 tire bill, was it a good financial move for me to actually park this, my Porsche 911, and actually drive this throughout the whole winter? Or am I just one mischarge away from being stranded? Let's look at the data. Welcome back, I'm Albert. Usually I sell 700 plus horsepower Lamborghinis and Aston Martins at Grand Touring Automobiles Ophel. But my reality isn't V12s. It's actually a 200 kilometer daily commute in the cheapest electric BMW you can ever buy. Just a quick recap, my BMW i4 is the base model with rear-wheel drive with M package and no additional options. I originally wanted heated seats, heated steering wheel, and blind spot monitors. But that is a part of the premium package, and it's around $8,000 extra just to get that. If this was your only car, I would highly recommend you to get it. However, this is just my commuter, so I just opt out for getting that option. I took possession of this car brand new in June 2025, and the MSRP back then was around 65,000 Canadian plus taxes. There was a promotion of a 5-year finance rate at 0.99%, and guess what? I took advantage of that. Don't get me wrong, I've also compared other electric cars while I was shopping. Tesla 3, Tesla Y, and even the Polestar. All of them were somewhat in a similar price point, so of course, I cross-shopped them all. The main reason the BMW i4 is the winner because of the drive. Although it's an electric car, I still feel it drives a bit more sportier. It looks great, and most importantly of all, the finance rate at a 0.99%. Lastly, it was the insurance that ultimately pushed me towards the BMW i4. We compared all 3 brands, and surprisingly, the BMW has the lowest insurance premium, so ultimately, it was a no-brainer. Today, after 6 months, I'm going to break down the 30,000 kilometer ownership report, the exact gas savings, the real-world winter range, and issues that occurred, and why putting high kilometers on an electric car is actually the smartest move that I have ever made. Okay, let's talk about the number that keeps me at night. My average efficiency over the 30K is a fantastic 19.2 kilowatts per 100 kilometers, but averages lie. In Canadian winter, my max range dropped from 400 kilometers to around 320. When I put my winter tires on, drops another 40 kilometers to a merely 280. My commute is 200 kilometers round trip. That leaves me a slight 80 kilometer buffer. If I forget to charge my car, it's really hard for me to get to work. If there's a massive detour, I'm sweating. Living with a base model EV on a long commute means you're basically married to your home charger. You cannot survive on a wall outlet. You need to be at least level 2. If not, you're taking the bus. So why do I take the risk? Firstly, the cash. Driving my 911 this much every day would at least cost me $50 a day just in fuel. The i4 cost me $5. I'm basically saving $900 a month. My i4 monthly payment basically disappears. But here is a real secret. I call it the Depreciation Shield. Let's just say I put 30,000 kilometers on my 911 in 1 year. I will wipe out close to 20,000 off its resale value. High mileage absolutely kills the sport car value. But this i4, to me, it's an appliance. It's gonna depreciate like a rock anyways, so I just let the BMW take the hit. It eats the mileage, the salt, the stone chips, while my Porsche stays absolutely perfect. This is the best financial advice I can give you. Is the base model slow? It does 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in about 6 seconds. But because of the instant torque, it feels way faster than a 330. And because it's a rear-wheel drive, the steering is actually lighter and purer than a heavy M50. On a day-to-day basis, I think it has more power than the average car on the road. And throughout the 6-month ownership, never have I once thought that I needed any more power, either to overtake or to avoid something suddenly. As an electric car owner and hearing so many nightmares and recalls, especially from the Tesla brand, I'm really thankful and happy to report that my car have not any issues at all. I had some problems while charging on the go, but I'm gonna leave that for a separate video regarding that issue. Back to the EV tax. Rear tires at 30,000 kilometers are absolutely done. Budget around $1,500 a year just for rubber alone. But when you're saving $5,000 on gas and maintenance, who cares? Living with a base model EV on a 200-kilometer commute is living on the edge. The margins are tight, but the math is undeniable. This car is the ultimate shield for my passion. It takes out the boring miles, so my baby, the 911, can handle the fun ones. If you have a long commute, just do the math. Just make sure you actually install a home charger first. Does anyone else have a longer daily commute in an EV? Let me know your distance at the comments down below. My name is Albert. I'll see you folks at the next one.